Hello! I know I'm a little late on year in review stuff, but I thought this would be a good time to kind of give a sort of state of the channel retrospective thing. So this video is basically just going to be me talking about 2019 and my goals for the channel for 2020. As far as looking back goes, 2019 was really the first full year of this channel and we did a lot. So far there's been 97 pending skits, although obviously one of them came out in 2020 and there was a couple that happened in 2018, but still the vast majority of them came out last year. That also of course means that the 100th skit is coming up soon. Basically what the 100th skit is going to be is a mix between a look back and also just a really silly idea. It's gonna be, I guess you could call an homage to how silly and dumb pending skits are in general, or maybe it's just a reflection of the fact that I primarily write silly and dumb things. So, you know, one of those two things is true. In addition to like churning out a lot of pending skits over 2019, there was also a bunch of specialty videos and skits that I'm particularly proud of. For example, I was super happy with the visual novel skit. That was kind of a video that I wasn't entirely sure I could pull off when I first had the idea for it. And even once I felt like I could do it on a technical level, I was really nervous that people wouldn't respond well to it because it was my first attempt to write something more dramatic. But the reception to it was really good, so I was super happy with it and super grateful for everyone that helped me with it. So I have hopes of doing more of those visual novel styled skits in the future that will kind of serve as sequels to the first one. I've also done a whole bunch of things that have had little or nothing to do with pending that have ended up on this channel. For example, I did some anime and video game reviews, which I was really happy with. I don't know if I'm going to do more of those in the future. I kind of want to. I need to have a topic that kind of inspires me to do it. So for example, I need to happen to have played a video game recently that made me want to write something about it, or happen to watch an anime recently that makes me want to write something about it. One thing I could potentially do in that vein is sci-fi stuff like Star Trek reviews, because like Picard, for example, is coming up, maybe Star Wars reviews, those kind of things. Things that tackle things that are interests of mine, but I'm maybe a little bit more reluctant to put on the channel just because I kind of feel like it's one of those things that is of interest to me, but not necessarily of interest to the people that subscribe to this channel. But I could do it anyways as an experiment. To an extent, that's kind of what the Europa 4 streams are. I figure as long as I'm going to play the game anyways, I might as well stream it and share the experience, so why not? Of course, there was also a lot of group projects and collabs. That's kind of one of the things I love to do the most, so it's natural that I fit in basically as many of them as I possibly could. I mean, I almost always want to do them, so it really just comes down to how often do I feel like I can ask other people to participate in my stuff? Like, what is the limit to how much I can bother people to basically film stuff for me? And that's kind of the determining factor for how often I do collab skits, because they're the things that I probably like to do more than anything else as far as videos go. And I'm very happy that I did a lot of those in 2019. There was also like a couple attempts at a big group project, like the Kitten Wars, for example, and the Halloween skit where Penny went trick-or-treating. And basically I tried to fit as many VTubers into that as I possibly could. Both were kind of learning experiences for me too. So it's kind of experimenting and learning different ways to handle big group stuff like that. And I'm probably going to try and do a bunch of different ways of that over the next year as well. Because I like the group projects, I like the big skits. They're a lot harder to do and they're a lot more time consuming, so realistically I have to space them out, but to the extent that I can do them, I want to do them as often as reasonable. And perhaps the most surprising thing that happened as far as the channel goes this year was reaching not just 1K subs, we actually got over 1.1K by the end of the year, which really shocked me. It was not something that seemed reasonable going into the year. Like, reaching 1K was kind of this far off goal that I wanted to get to eventually, but I never thought that it would happen anytime soon or necessarily, I guess really necessarily ever, but I'm certainly grateful that it did, and I'm very thankful that it did. So yeah, let's talk about things for this year. Let's talk about what I hope to do for the channel and what you guys might see going forward. I think one of the first things that you're going to see in 2020, at least as far as big projects go, is hopefully the mini-series. Although, to be fair, I really don't know when the miniseries is going to come out. The big X factor for the miniseries is just I need to be able to edit all of the parts of the miniseries before I release any of them. So basically, if you haven't heard about the miniseries yet, what the miniseries is going to be is a series of pending skits that are all directly tied together. Like one skit directly leads into the other, and there's an overarching plot with them. And it's more dramatic than a typical pending skit is. Like there's higher stakes, and things will change permanently as a result of the miniseries. Like the skits won't be fundamentally different after the miniseries. It's just that there's certain things that the miniseries will bring that'll stick with past the miniseries. Hopefully that'll be good. I kind of want to progress the pending story a little bit. I've been doing this for a little over a year now, and I want things to grow a bit over time. So I'm really looking forward to the miniseries. I'm a little worried about setting a date for when it's going to come out, because at the time that I'm recording this, there's still so much work left to do on the miniseries. But hopefully it'll come out sooner rather than later. Another thing I really want to keep doing, and I already mentioned this a bit in the previous section, is I really want to do more skits involving other VTubers. I feel like maybe I've done a little bit less of that lately, but it kind of comes in waves. Like there are periods of times where nearly every pending skit involves another VTuber, and then there's long sections where they don't. Sometimes I have like a lot of ideas of different things that I want to do that involve other VTubers, and sometimes I don't have as many. Sometimes I have more ideas about things that I want pending to do independently. That being said, I'm always open to suggestions. If you happen to have like an idea of something that you want to do with pending, like either as a pending skit or your own kind of thing, I'm usually open to that, so don't feel like you can't ask. I'm always open if people want to bring me ideas. In fact, I kind of like it when other people bring me ideas because, you know, other people will think of things that I couldn't have thought of myself. I also want to try out more experimental videos. Videos that maybe have little to nothing to do with pending as a character, but just things I enjoy. For example, one of the things I really want to try is to do a singing video. And I've always been kind of hesitant to do it for two reasons. One, I have no idea how to make a singing video, so I'm going to have to seek out some kind of help. If I actually have to sing an entire cover of a song myself and then mix it together and then lay music on top of it and stuff, that's a lot more complicated, and I don't really know how to do that. And then on top of that, if like, let's say I want to do an MMD thing where pending is dancing, I have no earthly idea of how to do that. So there's a lot of things I would have to either learn, or I'd have to see if there's people willing to help me do that. Another thing I'd like to do is more like attempting to voice act skits, like voice acting famous scenes. I kind of want to try and do yandere stuff. I don't know why, I just feel like with some practice I could do a pretty decent yandere. So I want to give them a shot at some point. And that kind of ties into something else that is kind of like a goal for 2020 for me. Not specifically with the channel, but just in general. I would really like to get into voice acting. I don't think I'd ever become a big voice actor, nor do I really think that's necessary, but I'd like to find little roles that I could do voice acting wise. And I'll try to audition for some of them this year. I was also thinking of opening up a Fiverr. Not so much because I'm looking to make money off of voice acting, but more because I know that some people look for voice acting talent on Fiverr. So that's a goal for me. Oh, and if people have like tips about voice acting, please let me know. One of the main things that I tried to do last year in 2019 was upgrade my audio equipment to get to a point where I felt like it would be good enough that I could potentially audition for voice acting roles with the audio equipment that I have. I think I might be at that point now where my audio equipment is good enough for that. So hopefully that's the case. So yeah, my big purchases last year were mostly focused on getting better audio equipment. I think if I'm making a big purchase this year, and I do want to make a big purchase this year, it's going to be in getting some kind of motion capture equipment. I just really want pending to be able to like move around. I think if pending can move, that'll open up a lot of possibilities for skits. So I don't know exactly when I'll be able to get like a Vive or some equivalent, but that is the next major purchase I want to make for the channel. Another thing I want to try and find a better balance for in 2020 is between streaming, skits, and work. I feel like lately I've been doing more streams and fewer skits. But a part of the reason for that is work related. My job has been, I wouldn't say stressing me out lately, it's just been occupying more of my mind lately, and it's making it harder for me to do things outside of it. But I still want to do things, and the easier thing to do is a stream than a skit, because a skit takes a substantial amount of time to edit. Like, for example, the other day I did a stream of EU4, which was maybe 5 to 6 hours. So that's kind of like a 5 to 6 hour video that's left over at the end. A pending skit is about 3 to 4 minutes long, and yet the pending skit would take me longer to make than the EU4 stream that I did. So the disparity between how much I can put out in skit form versus how much I can put out in streams form is very vast. But that being said, I still want to do the skits because it's kind of the main reason I started VTubing in the first place, is I wanted to tell stories. And I still want to tell stories. I still love doing the skits, even if they take me a while to edit. So, of course I'm still going to do the skits, but I do need to find the right balance, and it's gonna, I think, be an ever-evolving process where sometimes I'm streaming more and doing less skits, and sometimes I'm doing less streaming but making more skits, and sometimes I'm doing more of both because work will be easier. But in the meantime, I hope that people will just bear with me as I try to do the best I can in the time that I have available. Lastly, I don't know if I want to make a goal for how many subscribers I am aiming to get to this year. I guess, for the most part, I just want to keep growing, right? I just want to feel like the channel's doing well. And also, a big part of me really just wants the English VTubing community in general to keep growing. Like, not me specifically, but I just want there to be more English VTubing fans in general. And I kind of look at us to some extent as a group. I kind of look at it as if someone visits and sees Yui Kai for the first time, or if someone visits and sees Moe for the first time, or if someone visits and sees Harane for the first time, or any of them, then those viewers will potentially check out other English VTubers as well and follow all the ones that they enjoy. So in that regard, I kind of see the English VTubing community as one big team where we're all trying to grow together and we're all trying to build this nice community together. And I want to do my part in that, and I think my part in that is through the channel. I think if my channel grows, then maybe that'll lead to more people also finding out about Yui Kai and Harane and Moe and everyone. So if for no other reason than that, I'd like to see the channel keep growing. But yeah, I don't know if I have a specific goal in mind. Obviously, like 2 or 2.5k subs by the end of the year, I think that would be pretty amazing. That would mean that we more or less match the pace that we had last year, or even win a bit faster. I think that'd be very hard to do, and if ultimately we don't finish that high, I'd still be happy. But if I was putting like a milestone to work towards, I guess that would be it. So yeah, that's some of my plans for this year. If you liked this video, let me know if you want more of these kind of state of the channel videos in the future. I've never done one of these before, so I'm kind of uncertain as to whether or not people are going to be interested in it. I guess even the state of the channel video is in its own way an experimental video. But if people enjoy this, then I'd be happy to make more of these in the future. But yeah, I hope you have a good day, and I hope you're having a good life, and I hope that you have happy things. Bye bye, and I'll see you again soon. I'm waving, but you can't see that. But if I get motion tracking eventually, you will. 2020 motion tracking, so pending can wave. Bye bye.